Hello Sagittarius friends, welcome to your April 2017 general reading. First time I'm doing these general readings like this, hopefully that you find some value. I am it is Mercury retrograde this month. These have been a little bit of tough love readings, not intentionally, it's just, except for Leo, which had like a perfect reading. But I think just kind of the energy around us. So I know I'm going to get like tons of negative comments about how pessimistic and negative I am, but just the cards, and cards, tarot is really meant to be a reflection of truth. Tarot, that's what tarot is. It's not there to coddle you or to be your teddy bear or your best friend. It's meant to help bring things to light and to help you understand the situation as it is. So hopefully, I don't know, I'm not saying that it's going to be a tough reading. Maybe it's not. Leo had a beautiful one, but yeah, so just prepping you for that, all right? So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be doing a triple cross spread for you, so it's going to provide a little bit more detail for you, all right? So let's go ahead and get started. The Eight of Pentacles as the core card. I don't know, maybe you're a little bit of lack of focus. Maybe even a little bit of denial. Maybe there has been some expense that has been incurred. With the Mercury retrograde in Taurus, a lot of the attention and energy is being focused on practical material matters. So career, professionalism, education, as well as like finance, okay? So if there is something that came up or you are feeling like you're trying to catch up financially or like your money's going out faster than it's coming in, it's just a feeling, maybe it really is, okay, but it's just, hopefully the rest of the cards will enlighten us a little bit more, but that's kind of the core energy that we're pulling out for you. Control as being your challenge, the Emperor. Strategy, not knowing where you're going. Maybe you're feeling a little bit like whimsical or feeling a little bit lost. The Emperor is also a fire quality as well, okay, and you are a fire sign, Sagittarius, so it's almost as though you're kind of getting in your own way, working against yourself a little bit, like you have such, and Sagittarians, I don't know, they tend to be more successful, like one of the more successful groups of the zodiac, right? Financially, they tend to be a little bit more on point. They are ruled by Jupiter, and I think things, and I'm generalizing, okay, but things tend to come to them a little bit easier because of that Jupiter influence. So they're a little bit more lucky, causing them to be like, oh, life is wonderful, life is great, and to have this really magnetic personality that just brings in even more good stuff. All right, but sometimes you do feel a little bit out of control. Like I said, maybe money is going out faster than it's coming in right now. And control is I don't know why the word control is coming out for me for the Emperor. There are so many meanings to that card, but that's the one that's speaking to me. But I may change my thing in just a little bit. Ten of Pentacles. So, I mean, you do have a good basis, a good foundation. Maybe you've made some good investments. Maybe you're growing your family, your legacy. Maybe things are okay. But maybe things at work, maybe things with your portfolio, maybe with your investments that you've made, maybe there's just a little bit volatile right now, okay? In the near past, Temperance, that's the card of Sagittarius, Temperance in reverse. So maybe you haven't been feeling like yourself lately. Maybe things haven't been coming in as easily as they normally have or they normally do, throwing you off balance. And maybe you are even feeling dissatisfied by the things that you do or the things that you have. Maybe this month is about satisfaction and fulfillment of the material things, and maybe even a realization that the material things do not provide happiness, okay? They might provide avenues for which you to acquire happiness. Yes, it'll allow you to buy the boat, and you can't, the experience on a boat is amazing, and of course it's going to make you happy, right? But ultimately that boat does not make you happy, you know what I mean? So maybe there's some shift there. This is also a card of strategy and really looking forward. And I'm wondering if you are feeling a little bit lost, like I said, a little bit scattered. What's the next step? Where do I need to go from here? Do I need a change or not? Am I happy where I am or not? Am I feeling, are my goals being met? Are my ambitions being met, or are they not? And I think there might be questions, maybe even a little bit of self-doubt in your abilities as well, which there's no need, because you've done very, very well. I think you have a lot of goodness in your material realm, but even so, I often see this card with the old man kind of separate, kind of detached, preferring to hang out with the dogs more than hang out with his children. And it's kind of like the same old man, right? They both kind of have the old white hair, and they both are successful in their own right? Maybe you are detaching yourself from the importance and the significance that you have put on your success, and really asking yourself, yeah, I have all this stuff, or yeah, I've had a great life, but am I ultimately successful? And maybe really redefining what that means in your life. Now, this is all very high level, very very philosophical, okay? Sagittarius, you are the philosopher of the zodiac, so it's probably something that you enjoy thinking about. It's something that you enjoy questioning, right? You enjoy questioning the status quo. But it's in the realm of practical matters. The Knight of Swords. Now, this could be someone else. Knight of Swords. I feel a desperation. Someone's desperate to talk to you. Someone's desperate to be in contact with you. I think someone cares about you very much. I don't know if they're on your same realm. This is definitely someone at a different station in life, right? Maybe someone also scattered. Sagittarius, you don't need someone who's scattered. You don't need someone who is with their mind. It could be an air sign, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. Doesn't have to be. But it could be someone that is really, I feel like they're really desperate to talk to you, or really desperate to get to know you. Now, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be a romantic interest. This is not a romance reading, all right? If you want that energy, look at the love readings here, okay? But this is maybe just a friend, or a brother or a sister, or even a child. I feel like this person is younger than you, and I feel like this person is curious and interested in you in a very intense kind of way. Yeah, I'm interested to see what that's all about. The Eight of Wands, some form of travel or communication, or getting the things that you want. A lot of times the Eight of Wands can be even, I'm seeing rashness here. I'm seeing haphazard behavior or pushing. Something is, you're pushing something to happen. It's forcing things. I don't know why it's an element of the control. It's the Emperor. Sometimes you don't want to push things to happen. And I think it might be out of desperation, because you're grasping at something. There's something that you are trying to take hold of. There's something that you're trying to control, but you're not. So you're making rash decisions. You're moving from point A to point B, I think, a little bit too quickly. And I don't know what that speaks to. It's just what I'm feeling inspired to say. I honestly have no idea what that means. Hopefully it means something to you. But I feel like there's this desire for swift change to occur. Mercury retrograde, or any retrograde of any kind, I do not usually feel is the best time for major changes to be made. Okay. The Tower. Wow, I just totally am going to contradict myself. I completely just lied, because obviously something wants to change. Obviously something is all right, Sagittarius, your life is not on the right track. Like there's something that you are definitely not on the right track about. I don't know what it is. Maybe you're not in the right career. Maybe your money is starting to mean absolutely nothing to you. Like I think a lot of you might be going through like midlife crisis type of energies. Maybe you have been in a while. Your focus is all over the place. You're craving change, you're pushing for change, you're wanting something to change. There's also a stubbornness about it, though, with the Emperor. Is your stubbornness preventing change as well, not wanting to grow up? Is this you? Do you want to remain this childlike energy, staying fun, having fun? It's almost as though you're desperately clinging to this Eight of Pentacles realm, this Eight of Pentacles reversed, disorganization, lack of focus. This is not this is a very different reading from what I've been getting from most signs. The High Priestess in your environment, some element of secrets, some element of the unsaid and the unknown. Is it within you? Is it within someone else? Likely it's within you. I think there's something scratching at you, trying to get out. It's gnawing at you, but you are in deep denial about something. Financially, you're totally fine. I really don't see any... this is spiritual, okay? You're going through something. This is, yes, Mercury retrograde is more practical in nature this month, but just because that's the case, I don't know, there's going to be a significant lifestyle change in something. If you did incur some type of an expense, okay, it's just going to require you to make it a little bit of a new life for yourself. Like this is inevitable. This is going to happen. This is going to change. Your life is going to change in some way. And now I'm being dramatic for effect. Okay. Some of you might just be something small, like, okay, I need to just start saving more, spending less, saving more. And I'll get back to this Ten of Pentacles in no time and everything's going to be fine. And I'll continue to find happiness in other areas of life, okay, adventure and blah, 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 and all this stuff. Okay, fine, whatever. But some of you, this is going to be bigger. I think it's going to hit some of you pretty hard, this Mercury retrograde. It's going to allow for some realization. You're hoping... Some of you may be craving independence as well, detaching from the responsibilities of having to be responsible for others and really just focusing on you. What's good for you? And I think you want to reach that point where you feel entirely confident, you have self-respect, you understand your value, and you feel like you want to give. Like maybe you're even resenting the giving right now because you're not where you thought you'd be. Like you feel like you don't have anything to give. It's not that you don't want to give. Sagittarius is one of the most giving signs in the zodiac, like one of the most service-oriented, kind, loving signs there is. But if they're not feeling good themselves, then it makes it hard for them to open up to others. So maybe you need to get from the 8 to the 9 in order to reestablish the 10. You know what I mean? You're at the 8 reversed, got to take control, but you're feeling stubborn. You're feeling like frustrated. You're not able to take control, or you don't know how to take control. You don't know how to get from point A to point B. Something will cause that change. Like, never fear. Don't fear. And the 5 of Cups reverse, an element of sadness or regret or resentment or something towards the past. There is something towards the past. I don't know what that is. Sorrow, grief. This isn't the ultimate outcome. I do 3 layers. It is a triple cross. I'm getting the words, I should have known. I'm getting the words, I should have known. I should have known better. I should have. understood or something. Two of Wands speaks well to feeling lost. I think your life vision is restructuring right now, and there is an element of chaos going on, making it difficult to recognize direction, path, and if you're feeling like you're scrambling and you're feeling a little bit in denial, or a lot in denial, I think for some of you, if you're feeling like you don't know yourself, it's going to be hard for you to really, I fear that this Eight of Wands is something forced, and it's something that you are making happen, or making this large transition, or even a trip or a travel, or going to visit someone or something. I feel that there's going to be this thing happening, but it's without purpose, because you don't know what your purpose is. And then it's like, well, I shouldn't have, or I should have known, or I should have waited for this to happen first. Like, this is almost a preemption of this, which is going to make this that much more intense. I don't know. I'm speaking really generically right now, and I recognize that, and I apologize, but it's just because there are details about your life that do not apply to everyone else watching, you know what I mean? So I have to keep it open. So hopefully you can fill in the gaps. The Knight of Cups. This is a card of, it's a very heart on your sleeve. This is the caring, nurturing side, but it's also a little bit self-serving as well, the Knight of Cups. There's always positive and negative to every card, and I'm not necessarily seeing the negative attributes coming out of the Knight of Cups, but I do feel that a little twinge of pride and doing something because it makes you feel good, and not necessarily because or for the sake of someone else. Okay, so like you're doing something because maybe you feel like that's what a good person would do, and so you do that thing, and it's fine. I don't see anything bad coming out of that per se. And I'm also seeing a connection here, like this Knight of Swords. I don't know why I'm seeing it both yours and someone else, but there's definitely some connection happening here. If this is someone else, they really, really are super wanting to talk to you. An air sign, like I said, or they're really wanting to get involved with you or be a part of what you're doing. Like they want to be a part of your projects. They want to be a part of this. Yeah, let me just keep going. I'm kind of feeling a little bit lost with your reading, because I think I just don't intrinsically understand. So I'm just reading the cards as best as I can intuitively. You have been going through, and probably will continue going through, significant change and transformation. Now, death is funny. I talked about this a little bit in my dailies recently, and I see it as being a letting go of the past, or a break from the past. Okay, new beginnings and new chapters, yes, but it's more about a separation of from who you are now and who you used to be. Again, the midlife crisis type of energies. Two of Wands. Where am I going? What am I doing? What is the purpose of all this? And again, I feel that you might be trying to jump the gun, as opposed to allowing this death process, or this acceptance of who you are becoming. I'm feeling like some level of urgency and like defining, like you've defined yourself as something for so long. You've defined yourself as this for so long as this great person, strong, stable, successful. You have your stuff together. You have a relationship. You're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. You're adventurous. You're good. You're a Sagittarius to the T, and you identify with that, and you define yourself by those things. Well, the death brings about challenges to those definitions. That's what the death card is, right? When we transform and we become new people, it's us questioning all of these things that we've defined ourselves by and asking ourselves, well, is that really who I am? Am I really a Sagittarius to the T? Am I really a powerful person? Am I really a kind person? You know, and all these words that we've associated with ourselves. And I think the answer to those questions is like, no, I'm not that. And it's a realization that really has shaken up your world. And like for those, especially in the romance and dating realm, now this is not a romance love reading, but I'm going to speak to it as an example, okay? If you are single and dating and you have identified like, yes, I am totally a bachelor, I love being single, I love going out and dating and doing all these things, and now you're like, I don't like that anymore. But you're having a hard time letting go of that because you've talked about it and you've broken off relationships because of it. And now you're like, well, it's no longer serving me, but you're having a hard time accepting the fact that it's no longer serving you. Okay? And I think this transition is very difficult for you. Okay? This is very spiritual in nature, all right? And it may have been brought about by the material aspects of your life because you are not satisfied with how things are, all right? And it's not that you're not happy with your job. Maybe you're super happy with your job. It's not that you're not happy with your finances. Maybe you're super happy with your finances, but there's something missing. What is that thing that is missing? And I think you have no idea. Communication. I think this person is dying to talk to you, and you are also desperately clinging to who you used to be, and you are extremely hesitant to make that change, and communication from this person is blocked. I'm seeing it as two totally separate stories. Someone else that wants to talk to you, desperate to talk to you, but they are not. I think they see what you're going through. Now, this could be a friend, partner, like I said, even a child, right? I'm seeing a very childlike, immature person or immature personality. When I say immature, I don't mean like, I mean someone that is still growing themselves. And I think there's a level of empathy towards you for what you're going through because they see a part of themselves in you. They see it and they're not going to disturb it. They're not going to interrupt it. And it's you desperately clinging to what you were, who you've always identified yourself to be, and you are resistant to change. Stubborn, emperor, of course, right? Come on, the emperor doesn't change. He's old, you know? What's the phrase? Can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'm going to get some negative feedback for that. I'm sorry, I should have said that. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Okay, positive. Or the crowning, the Page of Cups. An offer. I don't know how to describe this. This Page of Cups has been like popping up all over the place. Something, an offer, an invitation, an apology, something coming your way. It might be what spurs you to go from point A to point B. I don't know why I'm seeing this so much in terms of travel. I don't know why. Maybe an invitation to go travel, an invitation, a job offer to transition from one firm to the next, one company to the next, even a bigger change from one career type to another career type, okay? Moving into something that you maybe feel a little bit more passionate about, but be aware of this Page of Cups, be aware of this offer, and really ask yourself if it's in line. Well, I don't think you can really decide that right now, if it's in line with your greater purpose, because I think you're trying to figure out your greater purpose, so you don't really have that answer. But ask yourself if it's really something that's going to be forced, or that you're going to feel obligated to do, or if it's something that you really want to do. Okay? And the Ace of Pentacles reversed. I think because of the retrograde, in general, it's going to be hard for things to happen, things to formulate, things to come through, contracts to be signed, all these types of things. It's just a challenging time. And I think that it's being withheld on purpose, all right? It's being withheld because you need to go through this Tower experience first. I don't know what this is. I don't know what's going to happen. Again, it could be something small. It could be something big. It's nothing to stress about. It's always positive. All right. Just so you know, it's always positive and it always brings about good things. This is on the other side of that Tower. So when that Tower comes and your foundation crumbles and maybe it's your ego, usually it's emotional, right? The Tower, usually it's emotional, but because it's Taurus and there are the material aspects, maybe there is a big change. Maybe it is a change in your home, a change in your location, a change in the physical parts of your life. But on the other side of that, there will be opportunity waiting for you. Six of Wands, your environment. I don't know why I don't know. This is such a beautiful card. But again, every card has positive and negative. So I'm going to give you both. Six of Wands, I'm going to give you both because I'm kind of leaning towards the negative, and I don't know why. I try to keep these positive, but this is just it's kind of a tough, like I said in the beginning, it's a tough love reading, okay? Six of Wands is victory and success, simply put. On the negative, it is a little bit of narcissism, like being self-involved. The reason why I'm feeling the negative, I think, is because of the association with the Knight of Cups and how similar these cards actually are. And I feel it being a little bit of self-serving, okay? Maybe the secrets are self-serving. Maybe the secrets you are keeping because of your pride, because you do not want to be humbled. You do not want to be raw and vulnerable and exposed. Because I think on some level you know how vulnerable you really are. You're going through something. You really are. You have been, Sagittarius. You have been going through something for kind of a long time now. Death is always a long time, right? Like, it's not something that just happens like the Tower very quickly overnight. It's something that it changes us. It transforms who we are. And it doesn't occur in a matter of like a week. I wish it did, but it doesn't, you know? And so I think because of this, you recognize, look at all these the same, all on their white horses, all traveling in the same direction toward the future, yes, okay, but still unsure, still a little bit shaky, I think, still reeling from all of this. The Empress reverse in your hopes and fears. Wow, the words have come so easily up to this point. I feel like you're afraid that someone will disappoint you. I feel like you are afraid as well that you will disappoint yourself, that you are not everything that you thought you were. You are not the man or the woman that you identified yourself with being. For so long, you have been the Emperor. You have been this strong pillar. But I think you're afraid of this new person in some way. Not like afraid of, it's just like wearing a new skin. Like I think you are wearing a new skin and you are trying to figure it out. Like you're trying to make it fit. I think you're afraid of giving right now. That's why the self-interest of these cards, right? The energy is pulling inwards towards these, and I don't know why. You're afraid of giving. You're afraid of opening yourself up. You're afraid of your abundance leaving you in some way. On a totally opposite, separate note, if you are trying to get pregnant, I think you are afraid of infertility or afraid of being not able to have children, okay? And being totally ready for that and hoping for that, but I think there's a fear of not having children. So that, I know that's going to speak to only a very small percentage of you, but I just wanted to put that out there because the Empress does represent pregnancy and life. All right. So, but it's a fear, it's a hope and a fear. It's not real. It's not tangible. It's not a reality. Hopes and fears are merely projections. And you have to be careful with what's in this column or what's in this position, because it can manifest if you worry too much. If you think about it too much, it can manifest itself in reality. The outcome is the Queen of Cups. Again, I don't know who this person is. I don't know if this is you or someone else. Emotional stability, which I think in some way you are lacking. And I think you're fearful of that. You're fearful of climbing onto the rock throne in the sand. Would you rather be in the sand or would you rather be on the stone? Okay? I think most of us would rather be on the stone. I think you're tired of floundering, and you are, and you have been, right? And I think your pride has kind of kept you there. Your pride has kept you in the sand. And the sand, I mean here, this is the sand, the unevenness, the transition, the transformation, and it's okay. Like, we all go through this, right? We all go through these moments in time, but I think this whole thing is going to get you to a place of emotional clarity and emotional maturity. There's a very nurturing effect happening here, very maternal, whether you're male or female, doesn't matter. But, very caring, understanding, very loving. And I'm wondering if there's going to be a side of you that comes out. And it's not that you don't love people. It's not that you don't care for people. It's just that you may recognize, okay, well, we got two that came out, and they came out in this order, so I'm going to go like this, that you may recognize I totally lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. I don't even remember what I was saying. Because as soon as I pulled these out, I was like, okay, I know what to say. Two of Swords is the point of decision. And the Emperor can be quite decisive as well. So, I mean, at least you have that going for you. I don't see you lingering at a point of indecision for too long. This is speaking to the High Priestess here as well. Or they reinforce one another. They are about our intuition and about making a choice, the right choice. But I think you know what needs to be done, all right? It's just a matter of doing it and not letting your pride get in the way, not letting your ego get in the way, and not letting the past definitions of everything that you've told yourself that you were, like I said, all those defining words, and not letting those truly dictate your future, because just because you identified with those things at one point in time doesn't mean you have to identify with them today. I think you are afraid of isolation. You're afraid that the way that you're going through life now is going to leave you out in the cold. It's going to leave you alone. And that's good motivation. All right. You don't want to be in this situation. You don't want to be alone. I'm not talking about romance here. All right. It can speak in social. I'm speaking generically because it can speak in terms of work, career, like you don't want to be left behind. You don't want to be the poorest one of all your friends. You know what I mean? So however, just take it at face value. But I think you don't want to be left behind. You don't want to be rejected or isolated. And that is the self-serving. Like, I don't want to be left behind, so I better hurry up and catch up. So that's why you're maybe pushing this eight of wands, pushing that change, forcing it to happen. Queen of wands in your past. I'm going to do your future as well. Still so much resistance in the future. Oh, Sagittarius, I don't know what to do with you. I remember your love reading. Like, you have so much resistance. You are hanging on to something. It does not serve you anymore. I really want you to recognize that it is okay to change. Be this, this Queen of Wands is so lovely. She's adaptable. She is fluid. She moves. She might be a fire energy, but when you think of wildfire, it catches the wind and it moves from one place to the next. It's natural. It's not natural to remain stagnant. Okay? It is emotionally mature to go with the flow. It's not an immature thing to let change wash over you. Adapting and compromising and adjusting, making adjustments, that is the grown-up adult thing to do. But yet you stand firm. Why? I can't even answer that. I mean, that's you. You got to figure that out. Why? And I know that some of you are going to respond and be like, no, I'm totally open to change. And no, I'm really ready for this. And like, I know that these comments are going to come, but just because your mind says that you're ready, you need to look at your behavior and you need to look at what is actually changing. And if you look at yourself today and you look at yourself 6 months ago and really nothing has changed, that means you're resisting the change. Okay? Again, I'm going to go back to the dating example, just because your love reading was so crystal clear in my mind, and I don't know why I remember you guys so well. Maybe because it's been the same reading for like 4 months in a row now. But I mean, if you're dating and you're like wanting this, the change would be having a relationship. The change would be opening yourself up to someone and creating love in your life and not continually running away from it. You know what I mean? I feel as though you're so protective of the way things were. But you can't, I don't think you're going to be able to do that forever with the Tower here. 9 of Cups. I feel like I'm berating you. I told you it was going to be a tough love, and I'm sorry, but I'm not really that sorry. It just is what it is. 9 of Cups reversal. Humble, humility, piercing of the ego. There needs to be humility in your life, Sagittarius. You need to bring yourself down off of a pedestal of whatever kind it is. Bring yourself down, come off it. I'm wondering how you give in to temptation, Sagittarius. Some of you, I'm not trying to say that you're all the same, because you all have different planets, you all have different lives, cultures, backgrounds. Everything is so different. So again, it's a blanket statement. If you are easily giving in to temptation, now would be a very good time to be more selective. Temptation is merely temptation, but I guarantee you that those temptations that bring about pleasure of some kind again, and I've said it a million times, it's no longer serving you. This is the mature thing to do. Not just taking anything, but taking the thing you want. Okay? I have no idea what that means. Not change for the sake of change. Change for the greater good of your life. Very specific change. Very specific selection. You're not just going to take whatever comes your way. The Knight of Wands is your environment. The Knights. This is the card of Sagittarius. And I don't mind this in a general reading, okay? I don't like it so much in a love reading, the Knight of Wands qualities. But I like it in your environment because it is adaptable. You'll need to tap into your adaptable side. For some reason, you're exhibiting a great deal of stubbornness, which is not the Sagittarian way, really. It's like you think you're being all free-flowing and you think you're being, just because you're going and doing a whole bunch of different things. But that, in and of itself, is stubbornness, right? Commitment or responsibility or obligations doesn't mean you're not free-flowing. That's, I think, the misconception. I think that's what you are getting hung up on, is that you're stubbornly clinging to chaos or havoc or lack of organization. You're stubbornly clinging to this type of whatever, as big or small as it may be in your life, thinking that that is like the Sagittarian way and that that's just kind of who I am, and I'm non-committal and I go with the flow and I'm an adventurer, I'm a hunter, I go and I, whatever, right? Whatever it is that you're saying. But that in and of itself is not flexibility. Opening yourself up, because you're clinging to that past, you're clinging to that world, you're clinging to your understanding of that essence of being. It doesn't make any sense. Being free-flowing and being open means being open, just as open to new things as it is to stability as well. We need stability just as much as we need variety. We need both simultaneously. And if you are denying yourself stability and you're only participating in variety, well, you're doing yourself a disservice. Kind of a big one. Now, I don't know if this is a hope or a fear. So you can say, I'm hoping to move on. I'm hoping to leave this old life behind. Or I'm afraid to leave this life behind. I'm afraid of moving on. Plain and simple. That's it. Last card is the Star. I've pulled this out in this position a couple times actually this month for the generals, and I'm loving it. I'm so grateful that it's coming out for you, because I want you to know tough love is for the greater good of you, right? And the Star is about wish fulfillment, and it's about the magic of life. And finding stability, Sagittarius, is not giving up on the magic of life. It is not giving up on the adventure of life. Now, I know I'm going to get some comments about that. Just a lot of you do want stability, and a lot of you do want it, but it's like I don't know why it's not coming or why it hasn't presented itself in some way. Like, I feel that maybe it is all these retrogrades and all these things that have been happening in the planets. Like, maybe the opportunity really just hasn't come for you to find that, but that you are open to it, but because it hasn't presented itself, that you kind of are clinging to this. Like, I don't know what your own personal situation is, but I just want you to know eventually, I don't know when, but eventually you'll have an opportunity to make your hopes and wishes come true, and you'll have the goodness in life that you want and that you're truly seeking for. But you do need to decide what that is. You do need to make up your mind what that means really, and what needs to be done, and open yourself up to that, because I'm seeing continued blockage and continued closure here for you. All right. Okay, I'm gonna leave you with that. That was a super long reading. I hope you guys don't mind. Hopefully you did find some value with this as well. I really wish you nothing but the best this month. Good luck, and I will see you next month. Bye.